Greetings, my name is Dan and today I'm going to be planting some seed potatoes. So it's the 6th of March today and it could be considered relatively early for the planting of seed potatoes, but I'm going to show you some measures you can employ, some methods in order to be successful in these regards. So got some lovely varieties here. So we shall start with this variety here, and this is Swift. So this is a first early potato, otherwise known as a determinate potato, and here I have 2 kilos, which is about 4.4 pounds. Here I have Kondor, which is a Maincrop potato, otherwise known as an Indeterminate potato. I have 2 kilos of these. That's about 4.4 pounds. So there really are all sorts of potato varieties you can grow. Another great first early potato, determinate potato, is Arran Pilot, grown them before, very nice. You can also get second early potatoes that are ready after the first early potatoes. Good variety of that would be Willia or Wilger. And with regards to main crop indeterminate potatoes, you can get early main crop and late main crop. A good example of a late main crop would be King Edward. So have a look about, so many lovely varieties there. If you want to look at a nice first early determinate potato, a red one, the Red Duke of York is a nice one, and this was very important during World War II. So nice bit of heritage and some lovely varieties out there. Certain varieties lend themselves very well to particular things. For example, Maris Piper, in my opinion, they make absolutely beautiful chips. I really like them. And with regards to Swift, they make really beautiful boiled potatoes. So depending on what you want your potatoes for, boiling, mashing, sticking in a stew, for example, roasting, whatever, chips, have a look about and grow the variety you want that you can use for your particular purpose. Chitting. So the subject of chitting, should one chit their potatoes or should one not? So chitting basically is where you give your potato a bit of a head start and you grow the shoots on before you plant the seed potatoes. So I don't deliberately chit my potatoes. In 1999 I used to work on a farm where they produced tons upon tons of potatoes. Someday we would pack up to around 40 tons of potatoes, so quite a bit, and they weren't chitted. So the majority of farmers don't do it, and therefore I don't do it, and to me it's not really worth the particular effort to do that. But you can get advantages from it. For example, with first earlies or second earlies, determinate potatoes, if you want to get them a few weeks early, give yourself the potential to get them early, then you could consider chitting. So the traditional way of chitting would be to get an egg box such as this, and what you'd do is you'd get your potatoes like this when you buy your seed potatoes, maybe in February for example, and you'd put them in a egg box like this, and you'd proceed to put this on a indoor windowsill, something like that, and you could get some lovely chits and potentially get a head start on your potatoes. So you can see some of these have chitted, but the way I chitted them non-deliberately was I simply left them in the bag on a windowsill. You've got to be careful doing that, because what can actually sometimes happen is the chits can grow through the net bags, and of course when you take them out, if that does happen, you've got to take care or you could damage the chits on your potatoes. So I don't chit, but make your own decision, or I don't deliberately chit, make your own decision as to whether you want to do this. With regards to your growing medium for your potatoes, you want it to have plenty of body in it, but have it well draining, so quite rich, but yet the moisture must come away from it because you don't want your tubers to rot. So I like to keep a lot of my growing mediums, as you can see that I've got in this tub here. So this will be a combination of compost that I bought over the years, some of which I'll have made myself from my own compost bin, a little bit of the soil from this area, which happens to be sandy and very well draining. So it's a good growing medium. And in this tub here I've got plenty of it, so I can use this throughout my growing, and it's coming in very handy today. So I'm going to load some of this up. Right, we're now going to be planting the seed potatoes. So here I have some 30-litre containers, and here you can see I have a container here, 114 litres, 25 gallons, and I presume this came from a loft somewhere, and I'm using it here to grow potatoes, so that's absolutely lovely. So we are going to start off with Swift. seed potatoes. So I've got my tags here, and I like to write the date in which I plant something. So 6th of the 3rd, what it is, potato, and also the variety, whoops, Swift. So we shall start with these, and I'm actually just going to put one seed potato in this here, just like so, like that, and I'm going to push it down, and I'm going to cover it over so it's about halfway in the container, and there is my tag there. So technically, with regards to early potatoes, determinate potatoes, you could actually fill this bucket right up. You don't need to earth them up at a later date because they only grow on one layer, but I'm going to treat these all the same just to keep it basic and simple really. So there we go. So we got Swift, and in here I'm going to be putting one Kondor, and I'm going to find my biggest seed potato that I can see, and I think it's this one, or it's close to it. Don't want that in there, take that out. And we're going to put that in like so, and just proceed to cover that up once again, so it's about in the middle and about halfway deep. There we are, all planted up. So last year, potato blight was a huge issue caused by the wet weather and humid conditions, had a lot of rain. So hopefully we won't end up with that this year. So keeping them in here in the polytunnel. So with regards to the prevention of potato blight, good ventilation is very important. So you can see here, I have my vents here, and also when the weather warms up, I can proceed to open the door. Going to be leaving it closed for the time being, but it will be open in a few months. So with regards to the temperature of growing potatoes, I don't like to go over about 35 degrees C, about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's unlikely to get to that in this polytunnel. It doesn't get as much sun as my other polytunnel, but either way I'll be remaining vigilant. They can actually stop growing when they get over a certain temperature, about 35 degrees C. So the door once again will remain open. So they won't take frost, it will kill the tops. If they're up and we get a hard frost, it could kill the tops. So as soon as I see the tops come through, I'll be getting some more growing medium on top of them. They'll be just fine as they are, but got to remain vigilant because it can put your growth back, and you don't want that because we want the advantages of the early sowing or early planting. So what you can also do if you want to increase the warmth of the microclimate, you could put something like that over the top. This is a piece of perspex that I picked up when I was on a job. The lady let me take it, so it's very useful indeed. I do need to clean it. So with regards to watering, I'm not going to be watering them yet. Still getting frost, still relatively cold during the day, and I don't want the tubers sitting in damp, cold conditions. I'll probably water them in about a week or so, something like that. But anyway, hopefully they'll be up within a month, something like that, and we shall await until they surface. Well, here we are, back here on the 17th of April, and you can see some lovely growth. So the Kondor there, well up. Look at this one, the Swift, the first early determinate potato, as one would expect, is right up. What I need to do is earth these up a little bit so that don't end up with green tomatoes. Now I know with regards to the first early determinate potato Swift here, don't really need to do this. I could have filled it right up and just left it, but I'm keeping them all the same just for simplicity. So all I'm going to do in the case of this one here is just get a bucket of some soil, growing medium, some of which is compost I've made myself, just growing mediums I've had laying about that I keep just you know, in case I need them for anything really, because I generally do. So I've earthed that one up there. There we are, all earthed up. I'll probably end up giving these Kondors some more as they grow through. Maybe I'll just give this Swift a little bit more over here and maybe a bit more on top, because this growing medium will probably sink over time. I'm going to give these some water, don't let them dry out, particularly the Swift at the moment, because it won't be too long now until that will want to start swelling the tubers. They're a very quick variety once they get going. So a nice bit of water to all of these, and yeah, we should just see how they do. Greetings, so 5th of May, and you can see the growth really is coming on here, and Swift just here, so really coming on nicely. Now, a little bit of feed here. This is Vitax organic potato fertiliser. If you've got a good growing medium, you don't really have to do this. You can if you want, but follow your manufacturer's instructions, and I'm just gonna, you know, give each one, you know, a handful of that. But as I stated, follow the manufacturer's instructions as to what you're meant to be giving them. So just like that, look, and chuck on like that. So I'm going to earth these up a little bit more. Don't need to with the Swift, but I'm going to anyway. Going to treat these all the same. So let's get on with that. So I've got a bucket here of soil mainly. Might be a bit of compost in there as well. It's majority of it will be soil from this garden here. So a light soil. And put that on. Don't need to be particularly specific. You know, if you can, try not to, well, ideally try not to break the plant. We don't want to be doing that, but I'm going to just fill this right up. Now we'll have another one on here, why not? Take out any bits of plastic or debris that you don't want in there. Well, there we are. That's the majority of the work done now. We'll just await our harvest. So don't let them dry out. So particularly important when the potatoes are actually swelling, which in terms of the main crop, indeterminate potatoes, they won't be yet, probably, but certainly likely to be in terms of the early potatoes, the determinate potatoes. But don't let them dry out at any time. We shall now await our crop. Hello, 12th of June. So today we're going to be harvesting the Swift first early potatoes, which I planted on the 6th of March. So let's get the container out and we will tip them out and see what spuds are in there. All right, so we'll just upend the pot and let's see what we've got. Cool, blimey. Cool. Lovely. That can go in the compost bin. Oh, that's about it. Certainly very happy with that yield. So I only put one seed potato in that container, but yeah, really pleased with that. Or pleased with these, and going to cook these up, probably going to boil them for my tea. Greetings, Dan here, 27th of September, and today we're going to be harvesting this Kondor seed potato planted on the 6th of March. Let's see what's in there, and hopefully we've got some massive yields. So let's go. Gonna be very gentle here. Right, this is off the top. That's our first seed potato. Sorry, first potato, seed potato, dearie me. Potato number 2, so far so good. Okay, so it's quite awkward actually because of the size of the container here. So I'm actually going to just tip it out in the tunnel. Right, let's see what we can do. Oh. Right, okay, so I'm just going to move the camera so you can hopefully see these taters as they come out. Let's see what we've got here. Right, okay, so I hope this is coming out clear on the camera. Another big tater. Oh, nice one there. Another one there. So far, I hope you can see this. That's what we got. Goodness gracious me. That is absolutely ginormous. Another nice one. Another one. Crikeys. Tony at Simplified Gardening, thank you so much for making me aware of this fantastic variety, Kondor. This is from one seed potato, by the way. You've got that many there, look. That being the biggest tater there. So here's my potatoes here. Going to lay them out now. And these are going to make fantastic baking potatoes. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, here we go. That one there, look. That's the biggest one. Them two, but that one there. So slightly different scales that than one would usually use for horticultural purposes. So let's put the biggest one on. So it's set to 0. Biggest one, 1 kilo. So what's that? 2.2 pounds. So I'm going to weigh them all together now. So using the same scales, I'm going to weigh them in here. So that weighs 0.2 of a kilo. So in these all go, and let's weigh. 4.6 kilos minus the 0.2 is 4.4 kilos. So there we are, 4.4 kilos, 9.68 pounds of Kondor potatoes there from one seed potato. So that's the biggest one. Absolutely lovely. See you in the next video.